Coming up on Mountain News this morning, mental health awareness and suicide prevention is becoming less of a taboo, but some officials say more still needs to be done. And lawmakers are expected to quickly override Governor Beshear's veto when they return to work Friday.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News This Morning.
Good morning, I'm Madison Carmouche. It is 6:31 on this Thursday, April 11th, and it is a First Alert weather day. So let's send it over to meteorologist Tim Drawbridge for a check of your forecast this morning.
And a First Alert weather day for sure. Elements in place. If we add some sunshine to the bag, guess what? Things will erupt, and it looks like it based on the latest model guidance. Says it's a low risk of severe weather. Hale Rogers Parkway North, a slight risk across the region. And talking about the slow severe weather risk, we're talking about, yes, an isolated tornado or two, but the main concern is a high risk for severe weather. And needless to say, with the heavy downpours also, we got to keep an eye on the fact that, yes, indeed, there could be some of the issues on the smaller creeks and streams. In the meantime, we're now down to 64 outside our door here in Hazard, and we're at 59 at Manchester, 61 at Moorhead, and yeah, still 67 at Pikeville. Widespread action to the west of Jackson and Hazard. This is where we find the cloud-to-ground lightning strikes. We're also going to keep an eye on this complex coming up from central Tennessee, tracking through Jacksboro into Middlesboro as we head toward the top of the hour. All right, for today, breaks of sunshine becoming breezy, showers, scattered thunderstorms, and a high later today of 78 and Hazard. More about the First Alert 7-day forecast once we get through today and tomorrow. A great weekend. Details in this half hour. Madison?
All right, Tim, thank you. Mental health awareness and suicide prevention are bringing officials in Pike County together as they work to overcome what health professionals call a mental health crisis. WYMT's Buddy Forbes has more.
Since stigma often silences the conversations about suicide, depression, and mental health, professionals are trying to shift the narrative.
Suicide prevention and mental health issues are sometimes an uncomfortable topic or a scary topic for individuals, but we must raise our comfort level around these topics.
In Pike County, Public Health Director Tammy Riley is passionate about prevention, saying the county has recorded 8 deaths by suicide in a span of 30 days.
To put that number into perspective, Pike County had 8 suicides in total in 2023. So it's definitely an alarming number.
Health professionals say from mental health concerns to sudden life changes and for reasons no one else can see, suicidal ideation can impact people from every walk of life. And Riley says research shows men are more likely to attempt and complete suicide and less likely to reach out for help.
From a public health perspective, it makes you wonder, have you done enough as far as raising awareness, promoting the resources that are available around mental health and mental health concerns?
So the county and state are working to make help more accessible, with local partnerships in place to make sure every person has access to resources specific to their situation through the statewide 988 crisis line.
On the other end of that line, whether you call or text, are compassionate, trained professionals who do know where the local resources are and will direct the individual to the appropriate resource.
Reminding everyone, even when it feels like you've reached the end of your rope, you are surrounded by reaching hands, trying to offer a little hope. In Pike County, Buddy Forbes, WYMT Mountain News.
The health department is also working with the Appalachian Center for the Arts to keep sharing its production of Every Brilliant Thing, a one-man show devoted to mental health awareness, providing wallet-sized cards to attendees containing information about the 988 crisis line. Again, to reach that crisis line, call or text 988 or start a chat conversation at 988lifeline.org. Officials say the death of an 8-year-old Kentucky boy last month had nothing to do with the strawberries he ate from a school fundraiser. Yesterday, the Hopkins County coroner said Trey Harris died from fentanyl intoxication. His family told police that they believed he suffered an allergic reaction after eating strawberries the night before from a school fundraiser. The FDA tested the strawberries and found nothing was wrong with them. Trey's stepfather, 33-year-old Antonio Person, was arrested last month for trafficking fentanyl and other drug and gun charges. He is now charged with manslaughter. Yesterday morning, a manhunt put 2 schools on high alert. Knott County Central High School and Heineman Elementary were on lockdown. Officials from both schools said they had increased police presence all day. Police arrested David Matthews around 2 p.m. Kentucky State Police Trooper Matt Gayhart says they received a call early Wednesday morning that led to the manhunt.
Just shortly after 9 a.m. this morning, Kentucky State Police Post 13 has received a 911 call in the Knott County community in reference to a possible kidnapping. So troopers and Knott County Sheriff's Office were dispatched to the scene.
Gayhart says Matthews is charged with 2 counts of kidnapping. He says Matthews is being taken to the Kentucky River Regional Jail. A Wayne County man is behind bars after police found drugs and a handgun on him during a traffic stop. During the stop, Pulaski County Sheriff's deputies discovered the passenger, 38-year-old Jared McKell, had an outstanding warrant for his arrest. During a search of the vehicle, police found meth, heroin, a handgun, and ammo. McKell was arrested and taken to the Pulaski County Detention Center. He faces multiple charges, including possession of a handgun by a convicted felon. A McCreary County man is behind bars after police in Wayne County say they found drugs during a traffic stop. The incident happened yesterday when police pulled over a vehicle Toby Dodson was in on West Kentucky Highway 92. The vehicle Dodson was riding in had an expired registration plate. During the stop, police found 2 syringes, a set of digital scales, and a piece of a crystal substance. Dodson faces multiple charges and was taken to the Wayne County Detention Center. Dozens of bills have been made law by the governor's signature, but others were vetoed. The governor has been busy signing some bills and vetoing others. One bill the governor vetoed is called the Safer Kentucky Act. Some people say it is controversial because its stance on homelessness. Others say it will make the state safer by making punishment tougher for those who commit crimes with guns. Phil Pendleton has more on that debate.
When Kentucky lawmakers return Friday, it's likely one of their first actions may be to override a veto of House Bill 5.
And enhances penalties for people who take a gun and decide they're going to commit a crime with it.
Dalton says the bill is simply needed to address crimes committed by people with guns.
If you commit a gun crime, those numbers are going to be very clear. Probation and parole are not going to be an option. There's going to be a difference in endangering someone's life by, say, waving a knife at them and firing a gun at them.
The bill also makes carjacking a crime, which Dalton says has become more of a problem than many people may think.
If you pull someone out of their car and you temporarily deprive them of it, it's now a serious crime, and it should be. You shouldn't be able to let people be jerked out of their cars and it not be a serious offense.
Governor Beshear vetoed House Bill 5, but he did praise it for its stance on carjacking and gun crimes, but he called it unwieldy. That would criminalize homelessness. Homeless advocates say poverty is a big problem that should not be treated like a crime.
I think a lot of people are in a real situation where they're just poor and they can't afford to house themselves.
Jessica Luster says people are sleeping in dumpsters, under overpasses, or behind buildings.
Our organization doesn't condone people trespassing or necessarily street public camping. However, where do we want Kentuckians to go that don't have housing?
Governor Beshear also line item vetoed part of the state budget, which included language he says will hurt the state's abilities in disaster response. In Pulaski County, Phil Pendleton, WYMT Mountain News.
Several bills were sent to the Secretary of State's office without the governor's signature, including Senate Bill 2, which would allow retired veterans to serve as guardians to fill school resource officer positions temporarily.
And a warm start to our day across eastern and southern Kentucky. We are in the 60s for the most part. 58 though at Irvin. The pinpoint Doppler radar Showing the activity again, Louisa over to Charleston, a break. Moorhead over to Lexington, but more so Lexington, Richmond as you make your way down 75 into Laurel as well as Somerset counties. Here's the loop. This area right through here is where we have seen the more prominent cloud-to-ground lightning strikes and some heavier bursts of rain along and north of the Hal Rogers, tracking up toward the Mountain Parkway. We also will keep an eye on this action across northern Tennessee, tracking toward Williamsburg, Barberville, and Middlesboro as we make our way toward the top of the hour. So we get you out the door for today. Breaks of sunshine becoming breezy, showers, scattered thunderstorms, and a forecast high today in Hazard up to 78. More about the First Alert 7-day forecast. A great weekend forthcoming. It's coming up in just a few moments. Madison?
Thanks, Tim, and thank you for joining us. The time is now 6:41. Still to come on Mountain News this morning. Arizona continues to debate abortion rights as presidential candidates start to weigh in with their opinions on the ruling.